This season was the worst season in Love is Blind history, so I'm not surprised that the reunion left much to be desired.
What is up, ELiens? I'm back again with another video. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Simply Elle, and welcome to the ELiens gang. And if you're not new here, you know it's the regular madness. It's the regular madness. Thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about the Love is Blind Season 8 reunion. This reunion was more entertaining than the entire season, honestly, but it still didn't give what I really wanted it to give, and I'll get to all of that later. The reunion starts off with Taylor and Daniel. They're doing very good and they both look really good. Daniel got Taylor's eyes tatted on his chest. It's cute for them. It would really creep me out if somebody had my eyes tattooed on their chest. And I'm very short. I'm likely gonna be hugging you. My face is gonna be at your chest. And I'll be looking at my, like no. But I love it for them. And then he has to stay with Lauren forever, honestly, because how do you explain that if, God forbid, you find yourself dating other people? How do you explain whose eyes are staring at them? It's a really big commitment, is all I'm trying to say. The tattoo, however, was done really, really well. It looked picturesque. The artist did a great job with the tattoo. It looked really, really, really good. And then we move on to Devin and Virginia. Virginia was asked why she said no at the altar, and she says that they weren't aligned on a lot of their core values. She also mentioned that he preferred to tell her his beliefs off camera. She says till this day she doesn't feel comfortable telling us Devin's views, but she will be very clear about hers.
I 100% support the LGBTQ community. I also believe that women should have the decision to choose if they want to have an abortion or not. I also believe that different religions should be valued, that it's our different ways of communicating to God, like different languages. And these were really important things to me. We saw my diverse group of people come to my wedding. I have Muslim family members, and this was an important part of this decision.
In this way, she basically tells us Devin's views without telling us Devin's views. She says she supports the LGBTQ community. She believes women should have bodily autonomy. She believes in religious freedom. And since the Lachey's don't specifically ask Devin what his views are, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't take the time to also clarify his views. So I think it's safe to assume that his views are the opposite. With the way she phrased her statement, it's implied that Devin's views are the opposite of hers. Devin then says that he believes people can still be together even if they disagree on core values. And Devin, I disagree. I don't see the point in being in a relationship with someone who has different fundamental values than you do. As someone who supports the LGBTQIA community, I don't think it will make sense for me to be in a relationship with someone that's homophobic. As someone who's pro-choice and someone that supports a woman's right to choose, I don't think it would make sense for me to date someone or marry someone who is pro-life. Like, that makes no sense to me. There's really nothing wrong with having different views, but don't expect me to marry you. Absolutely not. And I don't want people with certain views in my life. You need to be with somebody that when it's time to vote, they're not going to vote against you. Then they ask if it was just the core values that made her say no or if there was anything else. And then she says that there were a lot of little signs indicating that they weren't a perfect match. She mentions that she went to his hotel room the night before the wedding. She saw a letter from an ex on his nightstand. She says that he never mentioned seeing the woman and they spent the entire day together. When did he have time to see a woman and collect a letter from her? So this created some distrust in Virginia's mind. Then Devin says that he doesn't see the woman as his ex, that they were simply best friends, and that the note didn't have anything to do with his relationship with her in the past. And then I was like, hold on, you don't see her as an ex, but you had a relationship in the past. Make it make sense, Devin. Then Virginia mentions that she didn't even know that Devin dated this woman in the past until his mom told her. Devin's mom just keeps airing him out. Devin's mother is doing the Lord's work. She's telling Virginia things that she needs to know. And I don't know if Devin's mom feels bad about how everything went down with Virginia giving her reasons, because with the check situation, Devin's mom is how Virginia found out. And this ex thing, Devin's mom is also the one that informed Virginia that that girl was his ex. Mama Devin, where done ma? Wait on ma. Speaking of the check situation, we find out that 3 to 4 days before the wedding, Devin's mom told Virginia about the check they received as a gift. Pause. 3 to 4 days? 3 to 4 days before the wedding. There's no excuse as to why he did not mention the check, and it's shady that he didn't mention it. Devin then says that he was waiting until after the wedding to say something. He was waiting until they actually got married, and I'm like, sure, Jan. I don't think you were gonna bring up that check ever. And then she mentioned something else. Apparently, she got him a birthday present and planned something really thoughtful for his birthday. This birthday present included hundreds of dollars worth of gift cards to his favorite places. I saw a photo of the gift basket online, and I'll put the photo right here so you guys can see it. And in the basket, you can see Nike and Locker Room. So I'm assuming those are the places she got him gift cards to go. There was also a cake in the picture and some balloons and all that. Virginia says that she needed help carrying some of the things inside, and she asked Devin to help her. He says, can't you get it? And then when he comes down, he tells her, oh, well, you could have got that. And I'm like, it's something that she's doing for you. Even if it wasn't something she was doing for you, she asked you for help. If someone was my fiance and they asked me to come and help them do something and it's in my capacity to do it, I would definitely help. It won't be a question. Unless he was maybe busy or preoccupied, there should have been no issue coming downstairs to help your fiance, right? In a relationship, I'm definitely asking my partner for help. Sometimes when I ask for help doing something, it's because I want that person's company. And sometimes I actually need help. But it's nice to sometimes have moral support. And you ask your partner. They shouldn't be telling you, oh, can't you get it? You could have gotten it. What, like, ooh. Devin then says that he speaks highly of Virginia and that just because it didn't work out with them doesn't mean that he has any resentment towards her. Virginia says that's interesting because she hasn't felt love or respect in the last year from Devin. He says he wanted to be with her after, but he didn't think she wanted to be with him. Then Virginia cuts in and she's like, you wanted to be with me, but you didn't answer any of my phone calls. I was like, okay, gang gang. He said they stopped talking after they had multiple conversations that were leading nowhere. It was mainly arguments about things that happened on the wedding day, something between his family and her family. And then Virginia says that he stopped talking to her completely after the wedding. She says she called him for about a week and he stopped answering her phone calls. Why were you calling him? What did you need to call him for? I mean, okay, she did say that they connected emotionally, so maybe she still had emotion. I don't know, but if it was me, you said no at the altar, I don't want to ever see you again. Like, why are you calling him for a week? Anyways, she says he continued to go around telling everybody that she ghosted him. He said, I never said that. And then Molly and Madison chime in and say that he told the both of them she stopped talking to him at a bar. He says he never said it and that they came up to him all drunk and all up in his business and they asked him questions and he gave them answers. Number one, who cares if they were drunk? Why did you have to mention that they were drunk? Let's say they were drunk and they were asking you about your business. You then told them that she stopped talking to you, that she ghosted you.
No, you told us your business. I really didn't.
You came up to me asking me questions and I gave you answers and I never
Your
said
answer was that she
I
stopped
never
talking
said
to
she
you.
ghosted me.
What does them being drunk have to do with what you said to them? You told us that they were asking questions that were none of their business and you gave them answers. That's it for them. They move on and they show us the number 5 most unforgettable moment in Love is Blind history. Chelsea telling Jimmy that she looked like Megan Fox. I mean, that's cool, but I can list off 5 or 6 other moments from Love is Blind that are more unforgettable. And you guys will get that at the end. All right, so after that, we move on to Sara and Ben. They ask Sara that since she said no at the altar because their values are so different, why did she accept his proposal? She said she accepted the proposal because she thought there was going to be some progress. And shocker, there was no progress. And she mentions that there was a lack of curiosity on Ben's part. Then Ben says he really didn't remember his church's stance on gay marriage because he didn't go to every service, so he didn't go to church every Sunday. It didn't concern him, and because there wasn't anyone in his life that it pertained to. I guess it didn't pertain to his lesbian friend that he introduced Sara to. She's not someone in your life that gay marriage is an important thing to. I don't know, Ben. Then they proceed to ask about the TikTok situation with the girl coming out to say that reality shows always platform shitty men. Sara then says, knowing what she knows now about Ben, a TikTok like that makes sense. And then she explains even further, saying that they were together after the wedding. Who can remind me what I said in my last video? I said they were gonna keep fornicating until whatever was between them fizzled out. What they had was a physical connection. That's it. From day one, they were simply just physically attracted to one another. She says even though she was hesitant, she still had hope for their relationship. All of this was in the middle of a travel nurse contract that she had in Nashville. She still had to finish 3 more months before she could move back to Minnesota and work there. She tells us that she was supposed to go to Nashville with Ben. This was their plan since the pods. They were living together for close to 2 weeks after the wedding, and the night before she leaves for Nashville, they had a conversation. They decided that he would stay with her in Nashville for up to 2 months. They discussed logistics and they had a plan that he would fly to meet her in Nashville. However, as soon as she gets to Nashville, she saw that Ben had removed her from Find My Friends. And this was shocking to her because they just agreed that they would come down to Nashville together yesterday. She reaches out to Ben to find out what's going on, and he sent her 3 scripted apologies that weren't meaningful, and then she didn't hear from him for about a month and a half. The next time she now hears from Ben is when he contacted her to rehearse reunion questions because he was advised by a previous Love is Blind cast member to be on good terms with Sara. She said that gave her a lot of clarity on the type of person Ben is, and that was the last time they ever spoke. They now asked Ben, who is this person that advised you to get on good terms with Sara and practice reunion questions? He refuses to disclose his advisor's identity, so they now ask Sara, Sara, do you know who this advisor is? And she said it was Jimmy. Megan fucks Jimmy. Why is Jimmy advising people, and why are they taking Jimmy's advice? Ben says it was his understanding that they broke up that night before she went to Nashville. He said that when he confirmed Sara got to Nashville safe, he removed her from Find My Friends, as he always does with breakups. How did you leave a conversation with a different interpretation of what happened than she did? Why wasn't it clear that you two were breaking up? Why did she still think that you were coming to meet her in Nashville? Because I don't believe Ben thought they had broken up. I think he waited for her to go to Nashville and then block her. Anyway, Sara says that she feels like he just dropped her, and Ben denies this and says that she's the one that ghosted him.
And also, you're out drinking with friends all day, and you say you're heartbroken crying at home when you're not. And if you are, call me. And then a month and a half later, you say the reason why you call is because you want to check in and be on good terms and practice reunion questions because of Jimmy.
No, I said we should just be ready for the reunion and be on good terms for the reunion.
No, you said because they're going to ask about values, we should rehearse reunion questions.
I don't remember it like that.
And I think Ben needs to see someone about his memory issues. He always can't remember something whenever he's lying. It's always, I can't remember. I don't remember it happening like that. I don't remember. Like, what's going on? Are you sure you're fine? Are you fine, Ben? If they really were broken up, I don't think she would be telling her friends that, oh, you can't stay over because Ben is gonna be there. You guys ended the conversation deciding you were gonna take a flight to Nashville. Like, I just don't know where in the convo the breakup happened, Ben. I don't know. We then move on to Joey and Monica. And let me tell you guys, this Joey and Monica thing really surprised me. Joey, I didn't know you were like this. Okay, let's get into it. It starts with Monica admitting to never having said I love you to Joey, but then she said that Joey also never said I love you to her. First of all, we're gonna find out that Joey is not serious, but Monica was scared for the right reason. She says she didn't think Joey loved her, and watching the show back made her feel embarrassed that she couldn't see that he wasn't interested in her romantically. You know, a lot of people were saying that they were giving BFFs, they were giving besties, just friends. And looking back at the season, I can see that too. Joey says he felt that they could never get out of the friend zone because of Monica's sister. Now, Joey, what you're not gonna do is blame Sister Nicole for why you weren't being romantic to Monica. What does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with you romancing Monica? Nick asks Joey a really good question. He says that it sounds like he's blaming Monica's sister, and it could also be that Monica's sister rightfully called out Nick's lack of commitment. Joey says that he thought he was transparent about how he felt and that he was waiting until the end to make a decision. Then Monica chimes in and says that she could understand if he was collecting information as to whether or not he wanted to marry her, but it seemed as though he was trying to see if he even liked her. Then Monica tells us that she's been hearing a lot. She found out that Joey slid into another cast member's DM. This cast member was Madison. And why did he do this? Joey says it's because he reached out to a lot of people because he likes to check in on people. If you don't shut up your mouth there, Joey. He said that he reached out to Madison to tell her that he loved her pink hair, right? But Madison says the message was actually loving the pink hair. Wished we could have talked more. That is way more inappropriate than he wants us to believe. Apparently, Joey told Monica that Madison was coming onto him at bars. And when Monica approached Madison about it, she was appalled. She was like, what? I never did that. She denies it wholeheartedly. I think what he was trying to do was some triangulation. Because when he was confronted by Monica with Madison, he denies ever telling Monica that Madison was coming onto him. He basically said, Monica, I never said that. So where did Madison come from? How did that come about? He said that he had no interest in Madison, but Monica was worried that he did. So then he told her about the bar thing out of respect for his relationship with Monica. Joey, is not making sense. Nobody believes you were not interested in Madison. They move on from that whole situation, and Monica says she felt led on by Joey, but she didn't feel loved by him, and that she put in a lot of effort into that relationship that wasn't reciprocated. Monica doesn't think Joey is a bad person, but he was a terrible romantic partner to her. Facts. Joey accepts that and says Monica is an incredible person, and then they wish each other the best of luck. I'm feeling like I might owe Monica's sister a little bit of an apology. She's still giving hater vibes, but she was right about Joey. She clocked him down. And then they get to the number 4 unforgettable moment, which was Garrett's glow up era. I have nothing against you, Garrett, but this is really stupid. Garrett's glow up era is an unforgettable moment. I forgot that it happened. No shade to you, Garrett, but this shouldn't even be on this list. I'm so sorry. Then it's Dave and Lauren's turn. Nick starts it off by asking, Dave, what's wrong with you? I thought that was a little bit funny. Dave's sister is nowhere in sight. He begins by saying that his sister didn't want him to be shown in a negative light. But look what happened. Lauren says that she was way too emotionally mature for him. I agree. And he agrees. And then we found out Lauren received a mature text from David about some clarity he got on that guy that she hooked up with. Lauren said that she didn't need any clarity because what he found out was exactly what she'd been trying to tell him on the show the whole time. So Dave found out that the guy was just clout chasing, and he wishes he could have defended Lauren more the same way other cast members did for their fiancés. And yeah, so Lauren was vindicated. Hallelujah. Then they ask him if it was really the sister and the friends like talking to him about all these things, or was he already one foot in, one foot out, and he was looking for a way out. Dave says no, and then he goes on and on talking about I really love Lauren, and I put myself out there, and I met this person, and it just really hurts, and I think that's why people stay single. You just don't want to go through all that. And I was just like, boy, if you don't shut up. They asked you a question, yes or no. And then after that, Nick asks everyone if it's possible to have a booty call one night and then meet the love of your life the next day. Everybody agrees that it's possible and it's completely normal, and that Lauren did nothing wrong. Thank you. I actually appreciated this moment. We all knew that David was looking for a way out. And even though he was looking for a way out, he didn't need to use slut-shaming tactics to find something to cling on to as a way out. That was so unnecessary. This girl was explaining herself about things that really shouldn't need an explanation. Anyway, he says that he regrets not believing Lauren. Boo-hoo, womp womp, whatever. Sorrows, prayers. Then they ask him, was Lauren the one that got away? He says yes, and then Vanessa was like, tell her how you feel. And he's like, I don't think I can do that right now. And I'm like, yes, can we please leave this thing alone? It's not by force. It's really not by force. Leave it alone. Then Lauren says that she doesn't believe anything that he's saying or doing because there were chances for him to tell her his feelings. He had her phone number, they saw each other a few times at bars, and he made her feel like he had to choose between the devil and his family members. And I was like, I know that's right, Lauren. Say it again for the people in the back. Say it again for Dave's sister. Also, how many freaking bars are there in Minneapolis? How do you people keep running into each other at bars all the time? Then Nick asks David why he couldn't just have Lauren meet his sister and his friends. Dave continues to say that he wanted them to meet her, but his sister and his friends had already made up their minds. Lauren then reminds him that he said that his family and friends would meet her if he wanted them to. I remember seeing that. And now at the reunion is a different story. And then there's also that time where his friends were on standby and he was the one who told them not not to come. So what are you talking about? They made up their minds. Then they talk about the letter Lauren wrote that David never gave his sister. He says that he gave the letter to his sister, but Lauren says she doesn't believe him because she saw the letter in his coat pocket when he got back from meeting his sister. Then Dave says that he didn't give it to her that day, but he eventually gave it to her. Sure, Jan. They now asked him, if you gave her the letter, how did she react? He says she didn't have a reaction to the letter because her mind was already made up. He's still sticking to the lie. Then towards the end of their segment, Lauren starts saying all this way too nice things about Dave that I thought were unnecessary because he couldn't do the same thing for her when it mattered. Dave thanks Lauren for the kind words and says that people need to stay out of other people's relationships. Maybe he forgot that his relationship ended the way it did because of his actions. Not his sisters, not his friends, not even the guy that was clout chasing. Then Molly enters the chat and she confronts Dave about lying that he never said she was his number one, which is true. He lied about that 100%. And then she also says that he should have done more to make sure Lauren met his friends and his family, even if it was off camera. And that was it for Lauren, Dave, and Molly. Now we have reached the number 3 unforgettable moments, which is Laura catching Jeremy lying about spending the night with Sarah Ann. That was actually a pretty good one when she was like, don't share your location if you don't want me to check it at 5 a.m. You were not at the parking lot. You were at Sarah Ann's house. Not gonna lie, I remember that one. That one was a good one. All right, now we have arrived at this useless ass love rectangle from the pods. Mason, Meg, Madison, and Alex. So Mason and Meg tried dating a couple of times, but it didn't work out, and they wanted to remain in each other's lives anyway. Mason feels like he won by having Meg in his life. Whatever. Madison also says she thought Mason and Meg were better for each other. They ask Alex what he thought of Madison in the pods, and he says that it was surprising to see how different she was when she was with him and how different she was when she was with Mason. I can't believe Alex is on this stage talking anything on my screen right now. I'm surprised that Alex is even on my screen talking. Why is he here? I did mention in one of my videos that Madison was like 2 different people when she was with Mason and Alex, right? I don't think that that's a bad thing. If you people have different friend groups or different friends, I don't think you're the exact same person around all your friends or all your family members. I think different people bring out different things in you. With Mason, she was more sexual, flirty, all of that. But with Alex, there was none of that. It was more serious conversation. But remember, Madison did try to go there with Alex, and he's the one that kind of shut it down. He was like, no, let's focus on this. So she was a different person based on the people she was interacting with. Mason says that Madison would say very validating things to him, then go and say validating things to Alex. And Mason wishes he had validated Meg more than Madison. And I'm wondering if Mason forgot that he was also doing that exact same thing with Meg and Madison. You were saying validating things to Madison. You were saying validating things to Meg. What is the conversation? What are we talking about? Madison says that she had very different relationships with Mason and Alex respectively, and she reminds them that Mason did the same thing. Madison says she thinks the world of Mason and doesn't fault him for anything, but she just wished for a little bit more honesty. Meg jumps in, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, Meg really disappointed me. Very disappointing. But I'll say more about that later on. Meg jumps in and says that Madison contradicted herself because she recently called him manipulative in an interview. Then Madison says, I did not contradict anything. That is how I felt. She continues to tell Meg that she felt that Mason had a stronger connection with her, and because she had a stronger connection with Alex, she decided to pull away from Mason. Mason felt her pulling away and then chose to commit to her, but he was still dating Meg. She also said that she only mentioned that he had a better connection with Meg in order to give Mason an out, but instead he chose to say, I'm committed to you, Madison. Then Mason chimes in and says he felt pressure to do so.
I was giving you the runway to say, yeah, actually, I have a better connection with someone, and you didn't take it. You committed to me.
Madison, the only reason I committed to you was because I felt pressured to do so.
I didn't force you to say anything, Mason.
I didn't say forced, I said pressured.
I mentioned that Madison did pressure Mason. However, I don't think the pressure that was coming from Madison warranted him to fold and commit to her. Somebody is pressuring you to do something. You then do the thing. It turns out bad. Now you want to blame the person pressuring you. At the end of the day, you had a choice. choice. You're a grown-ass man and you made a decision. A wrong decision. Now you need to own up to it. But you want Madison to kind of go down with you. She gave pressure. She's saying it was an out, whatever, but you felt it was pressure. Instead of saying, girl, stop pressuring me, I don't want you, you said, I commit to you. That was a choice, Mason. He then says this.
You know, I was in there and I just opened my heart to you the whole time and thought I was in a real relationship with someone who had real feelings for me. And watching it back, I just got treated like crap the whole time.
This is really interesting
to watch back.
because when I saw you at the bar a couple months ago, you apologized to me for treating me like that.
And basically what I gathered is that Mason was upset that Madison was doing the same thing that he was doing. This energy that you people are giving to Madison, this vitriol you're giving to Madison, where is it for Mason? I'm also not sure that I see the merit in him saying that he was treated like crap the whole time. Maybe there are some things that were left on the editing floor, but it wasn't given treated like crap. Try something else, Mason. Try something else. Maybe you'll get her next time. Then Madison says that Mason apologized to her for the way he treated her. And Mason says she took that apology out of context, that he was apologizing for not seeing her red flags. That sounds so stupid, Mason. Whatever. Then Meg, again, asks why Madison cared so much about what Mason did since Alex was her number one. Madison responds saying that she's tired of them making it seem like she didn't care for Mason. She said she had genuine feelings for Mason and she was hurt by what he did. If that hurt her, then it hurt her. It's not up to us or anybody to be like, why do you care? Why do you care? They moved on to freaking Alex again, and he maintains that Madison was manipulative and that Mason was an amazing person. Guy, why the hell are you even on this stage? Why are you talking on my TV screen? He says Madison was manipulative because she dated both him and Mason differently. Then he says she was too harsh on Mason because he was a genuine guy who screwed up, and that he doesn't see why she was so hurt by Mason when she had him being Alex. All of that is literally the same thing Mason was doing. And honestly, I only think Mason is upset because Madison ruined things for him with Meg. But they want to all pile on Madison about her being manipulative when all of them were being manipulative. Mason was also being manipulative. He was telling her and Meg the same things. Anyways, Madison says that Alex is a liar and a complete different person on and off camera. She also mentioned how he turned on Mason the minute the cameras turned off. Of course, Alex denies that and claims that he broke up with Madison to defend Mason. Wrong answer, forehead. Are you acting like the cameras didn't catch y'all's conversation? You didn't break up with Madison as a defense to Mason. You broke up with her because of how she reacted to you defending Mason. Those are two different things if y'all didn't know. In case you didn't know, you defended Mason, she didn't like it, she felt invalidated, and you were like, I'm gonna keep defending Mason. And then she shut down. You didn't like that she shut down, saying that this is not how you want to problem solve or whatever. And then you broke up, saying that you guys weren't ready to be engaged. How is that breaking up in defense of Mason? Maybe y'all can explain it to me. I don't get it. After Alex denies Madison's claim of him being two-faced, she pulls out the armpit receipts. And it's screenshots of Alex admitting to saying not so nice things about Mason.
You're the type of person that has to preemptively lie about people who know the truth about who you are, so that when I speak my truth, no one believes me. He says, and this is him admitting that he said that about Mason. I told you a lot of stuff in confidence that wasn't meant for other people to hear, and now I feel like the bad guy. I'm just going to go back to only saying nice things about people no matter what. I said, that's not even the issue. She just told me things that you said about me and I didn't appreciate. And I do have more, but that's all I could fit in my armpit.
I know everybody keeps saying she didn't even do anything with those receipts. Those receipts aren't anything. I think y'all are just saying that because you don't like Madison. Those messages from Alex were definitely shady. Let's not lie. What do you people usually use dead emoji for? It wasn't some bring the house down type receipts or like oh type receipts, but it was definitely something, and I believe her on what she's saying about Alex. If it's between Alex and Madison and you're on Alex's side, you're either unaware or you're purposefully ignorant and you just don't like Madison. I think it's very possible to not like someone but still say the truth about them. Alex alluded to saying something negative about Mason in those messages. Those messages definitely showed him making fun of Meg and Mason. Then Meg again, says that Madison also lied. She came back and told all the women that she broke up with Alex. I broke up with Alex when he was the one who broke up with her. And I'm like, Meg, you don't have anything better to do? You don't have anything better to do than to be windmilling for Alex and Mason? Ew. Madison denies ever saying that she broke up with Alex. And then I went back to episode 6 to watch it again, and I didn't see her telling all the women that she broke up with Alex. And in her confessional, she says, although it's sad, I feel like it's the right choice. You can interpret that however way you want, but the fact remains that she never said, I broke up with Alex. She might have tried to act like she was fine, but she's not fine or whatever, trying to act like it was mutual, but she did not say she broke up with Alex. Like I said, Meg, I really don't understand what you're upset about. Your pick-me ass is mad at Madison for doing the same thing that the men on the right and left of you have done. One of them even worse. What are you actually upset about, Meg? You think Alex and Mason are your friends? You're sitting down in between them so comfortable, thinking that you're doing something. That's it for them. And then we get the number 2 unforgettable moment of Love is Blind history, and it's Lauren and Cameron's reveal. I think out of all the 5 things that they picked, this should have been number 1. Out of this raggedy ass list that they claim was voted on by fans. I don't know which fans voted on this. If you are a fan that voted on this list, I need to talk to you. But out of this list, this should have been the number 1 moment. And then after that, we learned that Daniel's mom was diagnosed with a form of leukemia, but she's cancer-free now and is preparing for a bone marrow transplant. I'm so grateful that she's gonna be okay, and I thank God for her life. Because when I heard that, I panicked a little bit. Because I was like, wait, Mama Danielle. Nothing must happen to Mama Danielle at all. But I was very glad to hear that she's cancer-free and that she's gonna be okay. Thank you, Jesus. Then they do the sock bin challenge inspired by Monica and her family. That was okay. And then we find out that AD is engaged. You know, good for you, AD. She's engaged to someone named Ollie that was on Love is Blind UK. And both him and her are going to be on Perfect Match. The engagement was really cute. It was nice. But how did AD and Ollie get more special treatment than Daniel and Taylor, who are the only people who actually proved Love is Blind this season? But hey, whatever. Good for you, AD. I'm sure Clay is somewhere talking about my daddy cheated on my mama. My daddy cheated on my mama. Very happy that she's being elevated by these people after what they did to her on her season. Then they promote her podcast, What's the Reality? And let me tell you right now, I think AD's podcast is one of the best podcasts I've watched in a long time, especially podcasts about Love is Blind. I saw the one where she had Marissa and Alex from season 7, and I found myself watching the entire video, and it was an hour long. It was that interesting. And then today I watched the one with Lauren, Taylor, and Daniel, and I watched the entirety of it as well. This is not sponsored content or anything, but I would invite you guys to check out AD's podcast. It's called What's the Reality? What's the reality? What's the reality? What's the reality? That's the theme song. Anyways, they let us know that the next season is gonna be in Denver, Colorado. Boo. Then somebody named Alex Warren performs. Genuinely, I thought that the special performance was gonna be by Daniel's sister, and it wasn't. And that was a big missed opportunity there. It would have been so cool if it was Daniel's sister. Because who the heck is Alex Warren? I'm not gonna say that he sounded bad or anything. The music is nice if that's what you're into, but I didn't need it. Then we got the number 1 unforgettable moment from all 8 seasons, and it was Jessica telling Jimmy that he'll need an EpiPen when he sees her. That's number 1 moment of the episode. That's the most unforgettable moment of Love is Blind history. The eye roll that I gave every time, except for with Lauren and Cameron, and the time Laura caught that Jeremy dude cheating, those 2 were fine. The rest of them were stupid. So you're telling me these moments didn't make it in? Diamond and Carlton. Watch me go to the next big boy. Watch your wig, cause it keeps sliding back. That didn't make it. That one guy who couldn't flush or clean his toilet before going on the show and had cameras up in his dirty toilet. I think that was unforgettable. I would never forget that. That was so nasty. The cuties scene with Zenab and Cole. That Asian guy and his teardrops. Is it okay if I do this? That's not unforgettable. Shake happened. Nothing including Shake made it to this top list. And then there was that time that Shane mistook Natalie for Shayna, but they decided to give us Jimmy. twice. Jimmy that's advising people in stupid ways. Then they end the reunion with their own fam jam inspired by Monica and her family. Honestly, they need to pay Monica and her family, because most of the fillers that they used to fill up this reunion was inspired by her family. Y'all better cut them a check. Anyways, that's it for Love is Blind season 8. Now these are my final thoughts. This season was boring as hell, so it's really no surprise that the reunion left much to be desired. A lot of it was filler and a lot of their bits fell flat. Devin really gives me the ick now. I really wish they could have pressed him on his views. I wish he could have stood 10 toes in his beliefs and said, this is what I believe in, blah, 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 blah. We found out that Virginia was paying every time they went out to eat. I am glad she said no. Regardless of the prenup, what's the point of putting yourself in a situation that you know is not gonna last forever? You know it's not gonna go well. You might as well not get into it anyway. I think they could have asked Dave more questions as to why his sister is not present at the reunion. Why does he hold his sister's opinion in such a high regard that he almost couldn't make a decision unless she was okay with it? He almost didn't even come on this show because she wasn't okay with it. Why does he value outside opinion so much? Alex sitting there comfortable as if he's not an alleged predator. Why? If they were able to fabricate a whole scene with Sara and Ben to address his TikTok situation, then they should have found a way to address Alex's allegations. He should not be sitting there comfortable like that. Imagine the people who felt victimized by Alex. Imagine how they felt seeing him at the reunion. I feel like the only person Madison really manipulated or did anything wrong to was Meg, honestly. Speaking for her when she was breaking up with Mason was not right, and she apologized for it. She issued an apology to her at the reunion, and it's up to Meg to accept or not accept the apology. That's up to her. I think it was very big of Madison to apologize without even being asked or prompted to. Alex and Mason, though, did not have a leg to stand on as to why they have an issue with Madison. And that's why it made Meg look really, really stupid doing all that windmilling for Alex and Mason. She came to this reunion to fight for those white men. Meg, you better be careful so you don't pick me too close to the sun. Joey really surprised me. Now I'm gonna have to issue a half apology to Monica's sister. Apparently Joey turned down Love is Blind twice when they reached out to him. It wasn't until his friends and his sisters told him, no, Joey, you should really go on this show. They told him he had the personality for the show and that he would have a lot of fun. He never wanted to get married. And there's a deleted scene circulating online where his close friends tell Monica that he never spoke about marriage before. Marriage is not really on his radar. So they are shocked that he's doing this show. And she proceeded to continue to go down the altar with this guy. This is courtesy of Nicole Davies. I'm gonna link her video down below so you guys can see more for yourselves. Monica's sister might still be a hater. I genuinely still believe she is a hater. I think she's jealous of Monica, mainly because of the comment that she made about how she's the one that's supposed to be getting married first because she's the older sister. That comment really rubbed me the wrong way. But she was definitely right about Joey. She read him down, clogged his tea, and we dragged her for it. So yes, I'm sorry that I said that you were wrong about Joey, because you weren't wrong. Where is Brittany? They had Alex's nasty ass at the reunion, but they couldn't invite Brittany. It really would have been nice to hear about her experience dating Devin and her experience dating Mo. It could also be that maybe she declined to come, but if it's that they didn't invite her, that's really messed up. Because Alex, Madison, Mason, and Meg were down to the reunion and their stories didn't even make it past the pod. So I think it was an injustice to not have Brittany at the reunion, unless she declined to come. And lastly, if people are gonna keep coming on this show to find love, to find marriage, to find whatever, especially the women, please make sure you invest in your own background check. Do your own background check. As soon as you get back to the real world, start to be Googling. Go and pay somebody to do background check for you, please. And I wanna end on this note. Chris Colleen, you are indeed raggedy. And Chelsea, so are you. For casting this season, oh, you are just as raggedy as Chris Colleen. Anyways, that's it for this Love is Blind Season 8 reunion recap. Thank you guys so much for powering through with me and making it this far. I really appreciate you. Like the video if you like the video. Don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!